Hare Krishna. I welcome you all to this another episode of Life Questions Insights from Geeta. Spirituality and spiritual knowledge is the landmark of our India. The four Vedas, the Upanishads, Puranas, and so many. And above all, and on the top of the all, is our Srimad Bhagavad Gita, which is a song sung by Lord Krishna, where Lord Krishna teaches Arjun, who is a great warrior, in the battlefield. After 5,000 years, even it is so relevant in our daily lives. We can find solution for our every problem in Gita. So to proceed, let's welcome Tayal sir and Manu ma'am, who are acclaimed Gita gurus, and they have been reading and teaching Srimad Bhagavad Gita for past many years. Welcome sir, welcome ma'am, Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
So without wasting much time, let's start our question and answer sessions. First question is, it is said that anger is highly damaging, but how one can control it? I think this is a this is question of almost every human being. So let's find out the answer from Manu ma'am. I'll request Manu ma'am to kindly answer.
Hare Krishna Poonam. Uh, I think the first part of the question is one of those life truths which no one will deny, that anger is very damaging. Anger is very harmful. It creates a negative impact not only on the person who's the victim of anger, but it creates probably a much more negative impact on the person who exhibits anger or who lets out the anger on another person. So we can all envisage a situation where a person is getting angry, and we'd like to think why people get angry and why people feel antagonistic against others. I think that there is a reason behind this. That why should we unnecessarily or without cause show anger to another person? So there is some sort of a logic in that people think this person is not behaving well towards me. Maybe I deserve much more respect than this person is showing me. And I'm a senior person. I have entered the room, and others are standing up to greet me, but this person is not standing up, or some situation of that kind where we feel that we are not getting what we expected, and then we give way to our anger, or we express our anger in whatever way we feel like at that moment. And the moment we start feeling that anger and then giving vent to it, speaking to another person out of anger, our blood pressure rises, and our capacity for judgment and our capacity for thinking about what's going to be the result of this outburst, all that vanishes. Like our intelligence is not working anymore when we are under the pressure of anger. After all, a relationship is being affected,
Yeah.
by that expression, which we could have controlled if we had made up our mind. We could have controlled it if we saw the symptoms of anger rising within us, and we recognized those symptoms, and we were able to stop ourselves at the right moment from expressing it. So that would have saved us a lot of unpleasantness, and in the long run would not affect our health and would not affect our relationships with people, because then it also becomes circulated among people that such a person is very risky to talk to. Don't go near such a person, because
Yeah, true.
they are prone to anger,
Yeah.
and people start avoiding you. So in every way, anger is bad. And Krishna has said very clearly in Bhagavad Gita, Trividham narkasedam dvaram nashanatmanam Kamah krudas tatha lobhas tasmat etat trayam tyajet. A person is supposed to renounce or relinquish these three things, among which growth has to be avoided by a person who wants to live the life according to Krishna, according to the teachings of Geeta. At the moment of anger, Swami Ramsukh Das ji has advised that firstly, do not let the force of anger overcome you. Anger is sort of a natural force, so don't let that get hold of you. And if it has got hold of you, in that situation, do not either take a decision and do not make any promises if you are in the under the control of anger. Don't do anything. Basically, he's saying that don't do anything under the influence of it. And after that moment has passed, you will have time to think, and you will be able to give a much better reaction.
Wow, that's
That's
so
it.
beautiful that
Hare Krishna.
we can save ourselves from physical, mental, emotional damages by just overcoming all this. And how to overcome, Manu ma'am has told us, like observe your mind. So that is very beautiful insight. Okay, so let's proceed to the next question. The question has come from our viewer, that how do you control your material desires and become devoid of all desires? Is it really possible? So I'll request Tayal sir to kindly answer this question.
It's extremely important, very relevant in all walks of life. Geeta also says, Indriyani paranyahu rindriyebhya param manaha. Senses are more powerful than objects, and mind is more powerful than senses. Indriyani paranyahu rindriyebhya param manaha mansastu para buddhir yo buddhe partastu saha. एवं बुद्धे परम बुद्ध्वा संस्थाभ्यात्मान मात्मनः जहि शत्रु महाबाहो काम रूपम दुरासदन. And intellect is more powerful than mind, but desires are more subtle and more powerful than your intelligence as well. So knowing yourself, destroy this all-powerful senses through yourself. So what basically is being preached by Krishna is that as far as desires go, these are more subtle and more powerful than our mind and intelligence. Hence, if we try to control the desires by our mind and intelligence, we will not be able to do so. It will not be possible. So you need to know the characteristics of yourself, that is soul, and then destroy these desires which are so very powerful. But the point remains, how do you destroy these desires?
True. Yeah.
Well, these are very powerful, and Krishna is saying destroy these desires. But how do you do that? So there is another verse in Gita which says, Labhante Brahma Nirvana Mrishya Sheen Kalmashaha Chinna Dvada Yatatmana Sarvbhut Hitairataha. That is, before leaving the body, if you are able to control yourself and engage yourself in serving others, you would attain the salvation. That is, you would attain the goal. Your mind, then you will be able to control your desires. So, engage yourself in serving others. You must engage yourself in serving everyone without desiring anything from them. learn this lesson from the trees. They are willing to give their fruits to everyone. Whosoever comes to pluck them, tree is very, very much willing to give them. Whosoever comes underneath, the tree is willing to give shelter to him without any discrimination. Similarly, we should learn to serve everyone. Instead, what is happening is we are expecting service from others. Husband from wife and wife from husband. Parents from child and child from parents. Boy from girl and girl from boy. Friend from friend. Then speaker expects service from the listeners. Now, this situation has to be reversed. We need to develop an attitude of serving others. Only then we'll be able to destroy our desires.
Wow, such a beautiful, that is selfless service is the lesson given from Geeta. And I'm so excited that Geeta has solution for every single, I mean, every single shlok is such beautiful. So let's move on to our next question. And it's very, very much of my problem also. So, why do people on the path of good have to face hardships, while those who adopt the path of evil sail through their life very smoothly? This is,
Yeah.
I think, the question of many, many people. So, I
Yes.
would request Manu ma'am to kindly answer.
Actually, when we observe other people from outside, we form our impressions that these people, although they are indulging in all sorts of unethical practices and they are adopting evil ways in order to achieve their goals, in spite of that, they appear to be getting on in life. They appear to be very, very successful. Their lives are prosperous and they seem to be having a grand time. While there are many people who are sticking to the path of the straight and narrow path of good. They are not getting onto the fast track so easily, and they are lagging behind. Whereas the people who are indulging in uh, uh, who are not so very particular about integrity, etc., they seem to be the successful ones and the persons who are having grand lifestyle and persons who are getting into page 3. So this is our observation. These are the impressions which we get. And somebody has said also that in this world it seems as if virtue has to be its own reward, while sin has for compensation all the glory and grandeur of the world. So one begins thinking like this. But I think in reality, this is not the only factor. What we are observing from outside is not the whole truth. The people who are leading grand lives may be facing problems inwardly, like they may be facing depression, or they may be facing loneliness, or maybe um, facing the experience of being liked or being favored simply because they are useful. I mean, even their friends are not real friends caring for them, but
Yeah,
simply people like to associate with them out of expectation of reward, some kind of material
sometimes.
benefit. And uh, not only this, whatever circumstances we are facing in life are not necessarily the result of our actions in this life. Like maybe I'm a contractor, and government project is on, and they have given out a tender, And I use the means, I bribe the government official who holds the cards, and he tells me the minimum amount. I mean the lowest tender which has been given so far, and I fill my tender and submit it at a less amount, at a less amount than the least amount which has been given, and that means that my tender will be accepted, so I am getting the work. And if I have cheated right at the onset of getting that project, in getting that work, can anybody expect that when the work is in progress, I will not be cheating on that also? At every stage, I will probably be cheating. But what I get in return for this malpractice, for resorting to this kind of uh, unethical means, unprescribed means, is not necessarily the reward or the results of it will not be according to that action strictly. But what circumstances I receive, I will maybe receiving because of my actions of previous life or my actions in this life only, but previous actions. So actions do not necessarily get their reaction uh, immediately. Therefore, one cannot totally say that people who are into evil ways, people who have selected the path of vice, the path of sin,
Hmm.
they are having a lot of success and they are rising high in the world. Whereas the other people who are contented to have a low income and who do not try to jump onto the fast track by some other means, and so uh, they are getting the result of being left behind in life. It is not necessarily that. This is because the result of past actions also plays its role in our lives. Each one of us has an inbuilt system, an inbuilt signal system, which what shall I say? Which gives us a signal whenever we are about to get into any action. If I'm thinking of robbing a bank, definitely there will be an inside signal that what I'm planning and what I'm scheming is against the rules, and I must not get into this. Whereas if I'm forming a resolve in my mind that whenever I'm coming home or going to the city, I see many people on the road who are suffering from cold and they are not even having enough covering, and I think that let me buy some warm clothing and let me distribute it among them. Then that no signal will not be coming from my inside,
Hmm.
because we have a built-in moral sense, and
Yeah.
we know that what we are doing is right or wrong. We do know it, but many of us choose to ignore the voice of the conscience. So this is what I was saying.
Yeah. So positively, the good will come to the good people. Those who do the good will definitely be given the good fruits
Sooner or later.
Sooner or
sooner
later.
or later. True,
Yes.
true. Right, right, right. So this question is coming from a student that how do you control and focus your mind, because we have so many distractions today, and we are told by our parents and teachers read properly, but how to read properly, how to focus in the mind. So I'll request Taya sir to kindly answer.
Yeah, that's really a prevalent problem. And if one is able to control and focus the mind, he can achieve wonders. Mind is like a ghost or jinn I hope you all understand what is jinn.
Yeah. Yes.
Is it called gnome? G-N-O.
Demon, you can say.
Demon, yeah, it's like a demon. Well, it keeps working all the time and makes you keep working all the time. Makes you keep running around all the time. You know, there was a man who was told by a jinn, I could satisfy all your desires, but you'll have to keep me busy.
Yeah.
Anytime that I'm not busy, I'm going to trouble you. I may cause your death as well. So man said, fine, there's no problem. I have so many works pending. I accept your challenge. So he said, yes, master, what can I do for you? Get me a house. Within fraction of moment, he said, well, here is your house. What next? He says, no, I want a big palace. Right here, master. What next? Get me the provisions inside the house. What will I do by living in this empty house? Get me the furniture. Right, master. Here you are. What next? I want good clothes, beautiful ornaments. Here you are, master. What next? Now I want to marry. Get me a beautiful girl. She should be well decorated. Okay, master. Here she is. Now the man starts getting worried. He is completing every task so fast. How can I really keep pace with him? So he gave him some further orders, and in the meantime, a saint comes to his house and he puts up that problem to him, and saint gives him a reply. So after that, when the jinn says, what next? He says, construct a temple in my house. Jinn does that. What next? Put a statue of Radha Krishna in it. Here you are, my master. What next? Now keep chanting his name till I give you further orders. Keep chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Now, mind is also like that. It makes you run here and there all the time. You got to keep it focused somewhere. Arjuna also asked Sri Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, I consider controlling of mind as difficult as controlling blowing wind. Wind that is blowing. How difficult it would be to control it. It's impossible. And similarly, Arjuna says, I consider controlling the mind as difficult as that. Now, how do you do that? So Krishna says, Asansyam Mahabaho Mano Durnigrah Chalam. O great warrior, there is no doubt about it that to control the mind is very difficult. Abhyasentu Kante Vairagyencha Grayati. But by practice and renunciation, you could control it. And what do you mean by practice? Practice is repeatedly putting your mind on the object of your goal. That is, putting your mind repeatedly on goal. Don't let it distract here and there. And what is vairagya? Renunciation. Mind has a tendency to run here and there. We've been repeatedly saying that. So renunciation to those objects which distract your mind. Now, renunciation from those objects, those situations, those people is going to be very useful in focusing your mind on the goal. So this is the only method preached in Gita: practice and renunciation. These are the two things by which you can control and focus your mind. Hare Krishna.
Wow, such a beautifully you have explained, sir. Thank you so much for this. I think our many viewers will be definitely benefited from it. And I remember one English proverb, practice makes a man perfect. So this must have come from Gita's sayings only. But here, practice and one more is included, renunciation. Right? That's very good. That's very beautiful. So let's proceed to our next question. And this is related to the very important concern of our society and of our houses, homes. Tolerance of people in today's world is constantly diminishing. As a consequence, violence and crimes are on increase. So, what is the solution to all this? I'll request Manu ma'am to kindly answer this.
Like in one of his small sonnets, Wordsworth has said, "The world is too much with us. Soon or late, getting or spending, we lay waste our powers. We are so much attracted and involved and attached with this world and whatever promises it holds out to us, whatever are its attractions, we are so much involved in it and we are so rapacious about getting whatever it is offering that we are not able to escape the pressures which this world is constantly generating on us. Like modern man can hardly escape the pressures of cutthroat competition and consumerism, aggressive marketing, information explosion, and speed of change, speed of change. Not only that more and more changes are taking place, but the speed of change has also gone up radically. So all on every side, it seems that life is holding out its promises of so many pleasures in different forms, and it is constantly inviting a person to come and grab those pleasures, as many of them as he can. And in present times, um, money, materials, experiences, style, and all those things, those are held out to a person as attractions. In earlier times, people did not exhibit their luxuries and did not exhibit whatever pleasure they are able to get by the use of money to the rest of the world. And they do not create that dissatisfaction within and frustration within the hearts of others. Whereas today is the age of exhibitionism. And whatever a person is enjoying, they like to show it off to the rest of the world. And in in present time, people are caught in the rat race. People and those people who are not having everything which the modern world offers, they feel themselves to be in some way lacking in comparison to those people who have everything, and there's a lot of frustration in their hearts. And this is how the intolerance begins. This is the first link in the chain of intolerance, violence, crime, because what I cannot get by straightforward means, let me get by some crooked means. Let me become crooked, or let me become a crook. So that is how the person proceeds towards those kind of means. And the frustration, the humiliation of not having so much as the others are having, this robs a person of his natural peace of mind. And is just not able to bear or to tolerate any situation in which he is finding himself to be attacked in some way, assailed in some way, or it is having a negative effect on him. He is not able to to tolerate that. So one has to find an antidote for this negativity. And in Kali Yuga, the best antidote which has been prescribed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Hmm.
That is the chanting of God's holy names.
Yeah.
As I was saying just now, that the best occupation for the mind, the greatest occupation for that demon who doesn't even have enough to do. I mean, so the best way is to tell him to take the infinite and holy names of God. So that's the best antidote, that's the best medicine which has been prescribed for the the mental condition, the emotional condition of people who are in Kali Yuga. That's the best thing. And Krishna also said in Bhagavad Gita, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has appeared only about 600 years earlier, previously, whereas Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita that he says in Gita to Arjun that Tasmat Sarveshu Kaleshu Mam Anusmar Yuddhayacha Mayarpit Manor Buddhir Mame Vaishyasi Ascension. That means that at all times, at each moment of your life, you remember me and also do your prescribed duties. That is how you will finally realize me and you will finally reach me. This is what Krishna has said. So the age we are living in is termed as Kali Yuga. And as I was saying earlier, that the best antidote is the remembrance of Krishna, chanting of his holy names, and association of sattvic persons. Our associations should be good. We not only we must have this practice of remembering Krishna at all times, but we should have the association. We should mix with sattvic persons, rather than getting entangled in worldly pleasures and worldly and trying to fulfill worldly ambitions, running in a race the whole time, which leads us nowhere. It's far wiser to take the support of Krishna's name, learn his teachings, and glorify his name. Tolerance and peace will come automatically.
Very truly said, ma'am. Exhibiting is more prompt today in today's time rather than sharing, which was earlier.
Yes.
And this has brought up many more problems also. And finally, the other much intolerances. And the only anecdote for this is chanting the names. So this is, I think, very beautifully said by ma'am. And so definitely with such beautiful knowledge, we can bring solutions for every single problem in our life. So if you want to read, Tayal sir and Manu ma'am are also running online classes for this. And if you want to post more questions, please post in the comment section and like, share and subscribe with all your near and dear ones. So till next, Hare Krishna.